watching the Bulldog Brewhouse Podcast.
Oh, hey, everybody. Happy holidays. This is Steve Grover. We're back for another episode for the Bulldog Brewhouse Podcast. It's been a long year. We've had, a whole year of filming episodes for the new podcast. Hopefully everyone's enjoying it. Hopefully everyone's enjoying the holiday seasons, not eating too much chocolates and getting fat. But, that's part of life in Canada at Christmas time when you start getting chocolates and a little spirits, from friends and family and co-workers. And so, but we're here today just before Christmas. I think it's about 4 days or 5 days from Christmas. And I'm here with Mr. Craig Oldfield. Is that correct?
Oldfield.
Oldfield?
Oldfield, yeah.
Okay. And you're a famous oil man?
I wish.
Okay, well, tell us a little history of
I'd have a
your
lot
last
more
name.
money. I'd have a lot more money if I was famous oil.
Oh, you're not like J.R. Ewing from Dallas?
No.
You don't have a white cowboy hat?
I wish.
And live in like a big house?
I can't afford a white cowboy hat.
And you don't live in a big house in Plano, Texas?
No.
And have a bunch of good-looking women and drama around you every day?
Well, maybe the good-looking women, but no drama.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about Craig. Where are you originally from?
I was born in Didsbury, but I grew up in Water Valley.
So where's Didsbury exactly?
Didsbury's half an hour north of Calgary.
Okay, and so tell us a little bit, what's in Didsbury? Like if I was going to go to Didsbury for Sunday with my family.
There's nothing in Didsbury, but there is a hospital where they deliver children. So I didn't live in Didsbury.
Oh, you're born there?
Yeah.
Oh, so you haven't been back to have you been back to Didsbury since you were born?
Oh yeah, plenty of times.
So so if I want to take my family for a Sunday afternoon at Didsbury, other than checking out the hospital, what would I do there?
Probably not much. Probably come to where I actually live, Water Valley.
Okay, well, let's talk about Didsbury, okay? Because I'm interested in Didsbury. I signed up a client. Unfortunately, she was in a big car accident outside Didsbury, and I remember went up there in February, and it was a typical Alberta February. There's snow still on the crests of the road, but it was sunny out.
Yeah.
The roads were dry. You've seen those roads in February, right? Yeah. And then, if I was going to take my family up to Didsbury for Sunday brunch, where would I go?
Yeah, there's a really cool little coffee shop there. It's called Vintage Coffee.
Vintage?
Yeah.
Okay, and what does Vintage serve?
Like just the regular cafe type or coffee shop type stuff, like sandwiches and soups and salads and coffee.
Cinnamon rolls so you can add a little rolls onto your belly and everything after that.
Didsbury's right in between Carstairs and Old, so there's not a lot.
Okay.
It's a pretty small town.
And then you live in Water Valley now?
Yeah.
So where exactly is Water Valley? Because I'm a city slicker. I was born and raised in Calgary.
Yeah.
No, I go out to Nanton, and I've been, I'll let you know, I like southern Alberta, like the smaller towns, because you're getting close to the U.S. border. So hey, I can get cheap beer for really cheap if I go another 2 hours.
Yeah.
And then Nanton has the candy store now. They have the Bomber Museum.
Yeah.
And they have that bike run every year sort of there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when I was growing up, Nanton water was pretty famous. So I remember my parents bringing back sparkling bottled Nanton water for the kids to enjoy, and I hated that stuff. I didn't understand why you drink sparkling water because it doesn't have any flavor. So I was a Coke addict. Not a Coke like Tony Montana.
Yeah.
I was more of a Coca-Cola addict. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So then what's in Water Valley if you're looking at it's a small Alberta town, right?
It's super small. It's like a four-way stop.
Okay. Well, like a four-way stop sign or yield sign?
Four-way stop sign.
Okay.
And there's a lot of small acreages around there.
Mm-hmm. Is it a lot of big money? Because, in those rural Albertans, they have a lot of cash. I was thinking of opening an office maybe one day in Nanton because I know there's the big farms down there.
Yeah.
I mean, they look like, guys driving around these beat-up F-150s, and then you go over to their ranch house, and they have all these trophies on the wall from, hunting in Africa.
Yeah.
They have, the Lamborghini hidden away so no one thinks they have got money. And then they got, $80 million in some Swiss bank account in Geneva.
There's a guy that lives down the road I live on that has an R8.
Okay, Audi R8.
Yeah.
But he's got money or no?
He's got some money, I guess.
Okay.
There are people that live. There's people that even commute from there. I mean, it's about half an hour north of Cochrane, so it's within range of Calgary for a commute. if you make good enough money to drive your vehicle back and forth and put those kind of miles on it.
Yeah, but it's a different lifestyle. Like, I mean, I've lived in Calgary my whole life. And, you've got those hectic, crazy days. Traffic sucks on Glenmore. Yeah. And it'd be always nice to have, like, a place to go and just chill. Have the dogs out, have a barbecue, have a beer on the porch. Those movies you see, those people living in the good life, and then the psycho comes out of nowhere and starts killing everybody.
Well.
But, so Water Valley, I've just out of your interest, I've actually been to Water Valley. That's just north of Bearspaw, right?
It's right between Cochrane and Sundre.
Okay, but there's that famous saloon there where they have the super burgers. There. Okay, yeah. So I used to be part of a group called Dogs of Law, and it was made up of a bunch of lawyers and judges, and anyone that was really in the law profession could be part of this motorcycle group.
Yeah.
Like a cop or a correction officer. And then one day we met up. I think it was a Sunday, and everyone said, "Let's go to Water Valley." So we went to Water Valley. So all of a sudden, it's one of those summers in Alberta where all of a sudden the clouds get dark and then you get pissed on rain.
Yeah.
And I was driving my Fat Bob, the new Fat Bob Harley, and it had the orange one. The Fat Bob, the new one that has a cyborg look from Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah.
I have that, and I was soaking wet. Like, I was soaking wet. And I bought these Harley Davidson riding boots. And I don't know if you know riding boots from Harley. They're leather, but they're not waterproof. So they soaked right through to the sock. And I was freezing my butt off. But then we went to the saloon.
Yeah.
It looks kind of like an old country saloon.
Yeah.
We went in there. We had a great burger. Everybody pretty much took off their gear to dry. And then we went back on and then started pissing rain on the way back to Calgary. And it's like, I remember that because I was freezing.
Yeah.
And then ever since then, whenever I buy riding boots, I make sure they're Gore-Tex.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? And those Harley boots, I bought them. Remember when Canes had the Harley dealership in Inglewood? I bought them. They felt good. They're awesome looking boots. But ever since that trip to Water Valley, those boots have sat in the same section of my garage in 5 years. Just to tell you the story about Water Valley.
Yeah, all my riding boots are Gore-Tex.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So that's my little story about Water Valley. It's a cute little
You'll
town.
have to come back again on a day where it doesn't piss down rain.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully.
Because it's a nice place.
Yeah, the burgers were good. I mean the service is good.
It's kind of like Bragg Creek-ish. It's not quite as far out into the mountains, but it's it's in the foothills and lots of bush, lots of wildlife.
But Bragg Creek's a little different because it's sort of flat, and then Water Valley's kind of
very hilly.
Yeah, really hilly. So I've been there, right?
Yeah.
I'm not telling you a bunch of bullshit,
no.
right? Okay, so you believe me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm a lawyer, right? But and then you're living in Water Valley. So tell a little bit about people. I know you, and I know you're well known in the motorcycle community because you do have a Facebook account company called, is it Riding Alberta?
Yeah.
So tell us about Riding Alberta. How did you found it, and what's the purpose behind it?
Yeah. So for those of you that don't know, which is the majority of people don't know how I started this.
I don't even know how you started it.
In 2020, well, let's go back to 2019. I had actually been off motorcycles for about 15 years. And in 2019, I had kind of a health scare and decided I should get back on motorcycles if I was going to do it. There's no time like the present. And so I went and bought a motorcycle in 2019. In 2020, of course, COVID hit. And the spring of 2020, I came up with an idea. I knew I wasn't going to work. I work professionally in tourism. So my job was non-existent in 2020. So I thought, well, what am I going to do for the summer? I need something to keep me from going completely insane. So I came up with this idea. I was going to do a ride through Alberta in support of small businesses that were getting hammered by COVID at that time.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So in July of that year, July or early August, I did a 2-week trip. 12 days on my bike. I did 4,000 K all within Alberta. Never left the province. Went as far north as High Prairie and all the way down to Elkwater, which is down south of Medicine Hat. And visited about 25 small businesses and videotaped a lot of it and posted it on YouTube, and I was just trying to give a little bit of boost to some of these small businesses, and that was all it was ever going to be. And then when I came back from that, I had a following on my blog of about 500 people, and they were like, "This is really great information. You're showing us these cool places that you can ride to and cool highways that you can get on, and also these little businesses that we may or may not have ever found by ourselves." And this supporting local idea was really getting into people, in front of people at that time, because if you're not supporting these small businesses, especially through COVID, they were going out of business.
Anybody. I mean, you look at you go around, and there's actually in our building, there was on the bottom floor when you walked in, I know there's a hearing loss clinic going in there, all that construction on the main floor, but there was a Vietnamese pho shop, and unfortunately they got hit pretty good, and they had to shut her down, which is terrible. It was great pho and great people, and just a hard Vietnamese family trying to make a buck, and unfortunately when you got 10,000 square feet in a big restaurant and you don't have people come in, you can't just survive on takeout only through Skip the Dishes or Dash Door, even though I'm not endorsing any of those. Okay. Yeah.
So I came back from that, and people were like, "This is great information. Why don't you start a Facebook group around this?" And at first I thought, that's a terrible idea. There's already so many Facebook groups out there, in the motorcycle community. And against my better judgment, I started it anyways. And within 6 months, I had 10,000 members on that Facebook group.
So you have 10,000 friends on Facebook.
I had 10,000 members on that group. So
that's your own
the
Facebook
Riding group, the Riding Alberta group.
So on Riding Alberta Facebook, you've got 10,000 members.
No, I've got 24,500 now.
Oh wow! So you're a pretty popular guy. So who's more popular, Jeff Bezos or you?
Well, I don't know.
All right.
I started that, and then I started a business around this to keep promoting small businesses. So now I sell basically a loyalty membership to riders. It costs them $20, and then that gains them these little discounts, perks at partnered businesses that I do business with all over Alberta. So I have about 85 small businesses on there right now, and that number keeps growing. Because people, they like what I'm doing. They like the way I'm promoting them. And riders are always looking for, the little hidden gem in town, where they can get the best coffee or the best, small craft breweries.
So I'm always looking for the best burger in town, and I love pizza. You have my pizza cutters from Grover Law Firm. Yeah. I know. Okay. So have you been to a lot of burger joints in Alberta?
Quite a few. Yeah.
Is there anyone in the rural one that sticks out for you in a rural area? Like I know here in Alberta, Calgary, we got Fat Burger. Yeah. We've got McDonald's, obviously. There's that Dragon's Den in Westbrook. Have you ever been there?
No.
They always win the best burger for Calgary for some reason.
I'll
it's pretty
check
good.
It out.
Yeah, it's Dragon's Den.
Yeah.
So if you're going outside Calgary, within the southern Alberta radius, when you go is there a burger, or is there any burger joint in the rural area in Alberta that stands out to you at all?
The one really cool place was actually, they're not part of my loyalty program as of yet, but they were part of that first ride that I did.
Yeah.
They're up by Grand Prairie. They're in a place called Crooked Creek, and it's literally a little gas station.
Yeah.
And a Atco trailer that's a burger joint.
Okay.
And it's called Scotty's Burger Shack.
Okay.
And if you're ever anywhere near that highway, you have to stop and get a burger from these guys. Not only that, but they got a really cool thing going where they actually take $1 from every burger that they sell, and they give it to the Stollery in Edmonton, the Children's Hospital.
Oh, that's nice of them.
Which is which is really and they've raised
millions.
Tens of thousands of dollars.
Not millions and millions.
Well, I mean, it is a pull off on the highway.
Okay.
But it's pretty cool that they even do that because actually their son had problems.
So that's Grand Prairie.
Close to Grand Prairie. It's called Crooked Creek. Yeah.
Okay, that's kind of an interesting name, Crooked Beaver Creek?
Yeah.
Jesse James hangs out there?
I don't know.
Okay. Or
I don't
Al
think too many
Capone?
people hang out there at
What about
all.
Al Capone?
Actually.
So,
And-
yeah. So what's it called again?
Scotty's Burger
Okay.
Shack.
Well, if I ever go to Grand Prairie, which I've never been,
Yeah.
I'll check out Scotty's Burger Shack.
Yeah.
What about, is there any burger joint in Calgary that stands out for you that you like? Or no? Just a good Mickey D's going through the drive-thru and getting
I'm
your...
not.
You don't get your McDonald's rewards points?
No.
I got up to 10,000 points now. You and I could go for a burger and fries for dinner after the
I think
show.
with what I'm doing, it's
Yeah.
kind of like, counter everything that I'm trying to do with the small businesses. If I'm constantly going to big chains and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I
Is
tend to avoid the chains unless it's 10 o'clock at night and I need a coffee or a snack or something. And then all those the mom and pop shops are.
So you go to that... What's that place called in Water Valley that I went with my riding group? Do you know the name of it?
It's just called the Water Valley Saloon.
Okay, you go there for a good burger? Or no?
I go there once in a while.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
How about... what's that place? There's a place in... I can't even remember it. Well, there's that Queen's Diner in Red Deer. Have you heard of that place?
Yeah.
Is that any good?
I've never been there.
Yeah, I've heard about it. And then what about out in Bragg Creek? Anything out there that you like to go to or no?
The Mountain Bistro is good.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I got a coffee shop out there too, the Mabel and Marie's, that is part of my loyalty program.
Oh, what about that other one, the Bragg Creek Coffee Shop that was owned by Kevin? He owned Ludacris or something, that motorcycle shop. I remember that. And then he went out there and he's got the Bragg Creek Coffee and Bakery or something like that.
Yeah, that's right on the big square.
Yeah,
So Mabel and
yeah.
Marie's is kind of behind over by the Bragg Creek corner.
Okay.
I don't know. The Bragg Creek coffee place is very Starbuckish to me.
Yeah,
And-
it's okay. I mean, it's right next to the liquor store, and then it's right next to the
grocery store and the pub in the corner.
Yeah. Okay. And then, so you're riding around. You've ridden around Alberta a lot on your bike?
A lot, yeah.
Okay. And what are you currently riding for motorcycle right now?
So I still have my 07 Versus that I bought in 2019.
Kawasaki?
Yeah, it's a Kawasaki
Okay.
650. I built it kind of as an adventure bike, but it's not a real adventure bike.
It's more of a touring bike?
Yeah. Sport
Okay.
touring is what they'd call it. But I ride that thing off, on gravel and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've seen you ride that. Yeah.
That's my gravel bike. And then I've got a 2013 Victory Vegas
Okay.
8-ball.
Now, do you put knobbies on the Cowie at all, or no, or just
I had knobbies on it, but they wore so badly that
because when you put that on asphalt, they go pretty quick.
Oh yeah, less than 5,000 K on a rear, and
I get like 3,000 maybe out of knobby tires on asphalt.
Yeah,
so you're pretty lucky than me. Yeah.
Well, and that's probably half asphalt, half gravel, and I'm getting 4,000 to 5,000.
Okay.
So, I can't afford to keep putting tires on like that. So I put a 70/30 on that bike. So they're still pretty good on the.
And then what's the Victory? What model? You said it's a Victory. What?
Vegas 8-ball, so it's kind of low and stretched out. It almost looks like it's chopped a little bit.
Okay.
It's got the big 21-inch front tire on it.
Okay, all right. So what's your favorite bike of the two of them? If you had, say that you had to sell one of them.
I had to sell one. I would sell the Victory. I'd keep the Kawasaki
Cowie.
just because I live on 5 miles of gravel.
Okay.
So
and Kawasaki, like, you got to admit it, Japanese bikes are reliable. I mean, they can go through the Donetsk war in Ukraine, and the Russians can bomb it, Ukrainians can bomb it, and you still come out living on the bike, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and they don't break down.
Yeah, that bike's got 60,000 K on it now. So
any problems with it at all?
No.
No. So Kawasaki's are solid as a rock.
I just had the timing checked at 45,000 or something like that, or 50,000.
Yeah.
And they didn't even put a shim in it. So,
okay.
You just keep riding these. Make sure you change the oil and put gas in it. And
okay. So I mean, the Kawasaki's reliable. Have you had? Now you said when you got into riding in Alberta, in around 2019, you've been off bikes for 15 years.
Yeah.
Is there a reason why there's a gap in riding for almost 2 decades?
When when I started riding in my 20s, I had a small street bike.
What was it?
It was a Buell.
Oh yeah, they used to be owned by Harley.
Yeah,
and they went under.
Yeah,
and then they tried to bring it back a couple years ago, and I think that faded. Or
yeah,
something
and
like
I
that.
think they're still trying to bring back one model or or something. But yeah, I bought that bike strictly because it was cheap transportation. You know, I was in my 20s and I just wanted to get A to B, and I didn't ride for fun. At that point, like I say, it was just
cheap way.
Getting me here or there.
Yeah.
And I thought it was cool, but it was, it wasn't something that I was real passionate about. Black.
Okay. Yeah, because Buells are usually blue or black.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So then I got rid of that bike. I rode it for about 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Learned a lot when I never grew up on dirt bikes, even though I lived out in the country. I never had dirt bikes.
Two-stroke or anything?
No.
Like that?
So I went straight to a street bike, rode it for a few years, and then like I say, it was just a mode of transportation at that time. So I got rid of it, and then it took me 15 years before I realized, I should buy another motorbike.
And what was the interest of getting back into motorcycling after 15 years? Like, what was the urge, or did something happen? Yeah,
there was a lot of stuff going on at that time. I actually had some really bad health problems going on. And I just thought, if you're going to do certain things, you better do it today, because I realized that there's no guarantee about tomorrow. And so I thought.
So you realize how precious life is, and you just said, screw it. And you know what? I'm going to get on a bike.
Yeah.
The most dangerous thing in the world.
Hey,
Because my sister's a medical doctor, and the ER, the big trauma they see here in Calgary is the motorcycle accidents coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like in Chicago. Okay, that's a different city. It's going to be shotgun wounds.
Yeah.
Okay, but in Calgary, it's motorcycle accidents. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we were talking about this before the podcast, and I was saying, if you stay out of the city, your odds are greater that you can live a long life as a motorcyclist.
Yeah, but but I'm gonna let you know. Like, I'm riding my whole life, and then I've been doing injury law for over 20 years, and then I've taken a lot of motorcycle accidents and sort of zoned in. You've known Grover Law from out there for the last 6 years, or hitting it hard to help give back to the motorcycle community. And the only thing that I'm worried about, like, I understand what you're saying, because we live on the west side, and when I get on my bike, I get out of town, okay, because I don't want to be in the crazies.
Yeah.
But sometimes the problem is I'll let you know, I've seen these accidents come in. You're riding down the road, you go through an intersection, and that person that stopped at that stop sign doesn't see you.
Yeah.
And boom. And you're going 100, 80K, and that person just runs through the stop sign at 50, and those are like T-bones you, and those are catastrophic injuries.
Oh yeah.
So you got to be very careful on the country road, because you get all those flat roads, and you're like, they're near Springbank too. You know the area, and it's sunny out. The weather's perfect. The person's driving the car. It's like, I'm just gonna roll through the stop sign, no one's around, and boom, the motorcycle comes out of nowhere. And I've seen so many of those accidents. You gotta still be careful on the country roads, and the problem is what I've realized is it doesn't matter where you live, but a person that's driving a car, if they don't ride, they're not looking for that motorcycle.
Yeah. You
can agree with that.
Yeah. Oh, I almost got hit my truck on the way coming down Deerfoot today.
Yeah.
A guy wanted to take the lane I was pulling into, and he.
But you're driving a truck, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm talking about.
I mean, it happens that easy, even when you're in a truck that people can see.
Yeah.
So if I had been on a bike, he would have totally wiped me out.
Oh yeah, we just had a case settle at a big mediation yesterday, an accident in Lethbridge. I can't disclose much, but essentially, the defendant did a left-hand turn. She didn't see our motorcycle at all.
Oh, yeah.
I guarantee she wasn't looking for a motorcycle. Because it's just the inclination. If especially in Alberta, because we have these weathers and the wet. We get 5-6 months of snow.
Yeah.
No matter what. I don't ride in January because I don't trust the pea gravel on the roads in Calgary or out in the country. You hit that pea gravel, you're going down, you're breaking the leg.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's just the fact that you're driving a truck, and you're looking for a car or a truck. You're not looking for that motorcyclist or even even a pedestrian, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And just boom, he got hit, and his life changed forever. But thank God, we did a good job. We settled it so he can get on with his life.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. But I'm just telling you, like, I mean, some I understand in the city there's people, there's so much traffic, but sometimes on those country roads, people just blow through stop signs, or they just roll through a stop sign. They're not looking for that car, that motorcycle.
Oh yeah, it can happen anywhere for sure. And the sad fact is, if you get in an accident on a bike, you're the loser every time. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter who's right or wrong. Yeah. You're the loser, right?
And the problem is like, okay, first of all, when there's an accident between a car and a motorcycle, you're the loser regarding injuries.
Yeah.
The other problem is it's just based on our culture, and sometimes the cops or the court system.
Yeah, you must have been doing something stupid.
They always blame the motorcyclist first.
Yeah.
And so there's always been that persona that we're trying to change through litigating these cases. It's just making people more aware, and hopefully there won't be any more motorcycle accidents in Alberta or in Canada in general. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we have the highest per capita motorcycles in Canada.
Bigger than BC?
Oh, yeah.
And Ontario?
Yep.
Wow. Okay. And what do you think that is? We got expendable income in Alberta because of the oil field work?
I think some of it has to do with that, and just there is a big culture behind motorcycles here. Yeah. I don't, that it's been around for quite a while.
Yeah.
The other thing is we're close to Montana, we're close to BC.
Yeah.
We can get to all these really cool places to ride, and we've got bigger population and you say, expendable income.
Oh yeah. Low tax bracket, low corporate tax bracket.
Yeah.
I think we
and we can we got so many dealerships.
Well, that's cut
lots
down
of places
now.
But you go to Saskatchewan, they don't have a tenth of the dealerships that we have in Alberta, right?
Yeah, but now we have one Harley dealership, Calgary Harley. We have like Barnes bought out Blackfoot, and that's like they just got everything in there, pretty much the kitchen sink in there. You want a Honda, you want a Cowie, you want a Ducati. They can sell you used Harleys I've seen in there. They can't sell you new ones.
Yeah.
And then GW Cycle, are they still around that much? Or are they kind of like?
I heard that they were just gonna do like clothing and accessories, and just get out of the bikes completely because they were basically just a Suzuki dealership. Anyways.
And then you got to buy the bikes, and you got to finance them. They sit on the lot, and if you don't have that volume going through, it's really hard. Okay. And then you've been riding quite a bit. I know you got the Cow, you got the Victory, but if you won the lottery, tomorrow, the lotto, like let's not about 649, the lotto. What's the big one? The $100 million one?
Like the Super Bowl type thing?
Yeah. So you won the big one. Well, what bike would you go out tomorrow and buy if you had $100 million in your bank? If you won the lottery,
I'd probably buy like at least 10 bikes.
No, but
the first one.
Yeah, if you had a financial planner and said, okay, you can
I'd fire that financial.
Yeah, but you got to buy one bike first.
Okay, first bike. I need a new adventure touring bike.
Which one would you buy?
I really like the 800, 900 class adventure bike. I don't really think...
Which model?
Probably either the Triumph 900 Rally or the new Suzuki V-Strom really intrigues me, the 800 V-Strom.
And why does that? Because I had one ordered last year, Blackfoot now, which is Barnes.
Yep.
Ron, who's a good friend of me, I think he's a salesman or GM. I put my name on one, and I went in and it was okay. And like I already have a bunch of bikes, so I went away from it. You could have easily bought it for me if you won the lottery. But why do you like the V-Strom? You're talking about the 2023 one, the new 800D.
The new 800D.
Yeah, why do you like that one?
I like that it's way more off-roady than the existing V-Stroms, the 650 and the 1050 or whatever it is.
Yeah, do you know the color palettes for it? The yellow or the gray?
Yeah.
Which one would you go with?
Probably the yellow.
Yeah, I like the yellow. Yeah, and the
other the old school, like the old
80s look,
big DR, right? Like that's the rally look, right?
Yeah, and the problem is they had the gray one with me. I didn't want the gray. I want the bright, big bird kind of yellow one. That looks cool. Yeah. And then the other bike would be the Triumph 900.
Yeah.
Which one would you get? The Rally, or do you know the different models at all, or no?
Yeah, probably the Rally.
Yeah. Okay. And why would you pick that one?
Same thing. Like I think the 1200. The new GS is a 1300.
Well, let's talk about that.
Really,
we'll talk about the new GS separately.
No, okay? But I don't need a 1300 cc adventure bike.
Well, what about a Triumph 1200, the new Triumph?
I don't need that kind of cc. I don't need 160 horsepower from a Pan Am. Mm-hmm. I think the 800, 900 class adventure bike, that's why I would key in on those, mm-hmm. is kind of that unicorn touring adventure bike, where that 800, 900 cc's, you're still putting out, 75 horsepower, mm-hmm. 80 horsepower. You've still got plenty on the highway, and yet, you're not so big and cumbersome, mm-hmm. If you do get onto a gravel road or a, mm-hmm. Really light trail use. I don't ride trails per se. Okay. But
you don't go up to McLean Creek and
going back west and hitting some of the fire roads in BC and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But I'm not using this thing for single track. Okay. But at the same point, I don't need that 1200. I don't need a bagger size motor in my adventure bike.
So you had $100 million in your bank, and you would go out and buy a $14,000 Suzuki. Or a $21,000 Triumph.
Probably.
You wouldn't do like something crazy and buy a Ducati Lamborghini Street Fighter for $90,000.
No.
Okay.
That would be kind of useless to me, Steve.
Yeah, but you can just you can buy that big house and buy one of those big houses, mahogany, for $2.6 million. Yeah. And just put the Street Fighter Lamborghini in your great room.
But you said I had to choose the first bike I would buy. I said, I would buy 10 or 15 or maybe 30 bikes with that kind of money. Okay. But if I wanted to buy something to ride, that's what I would buy.
So you wouldn't buy a CVO?
If I wanted to buy something to look at, it wouldn't be those bikes.
So you wouldn't buy a CVO, the new Harley CVO, for $68,000?
I like the bike you guys are giving away for next year's.
Oh, the Fast Johnny.
The fast. The Lowrider ST.
No,
is it a Lowrider? No. That was last year's.
Yeah.
This year, the new one's a Road King.
We're talking
Road
Glide. We're talking about 2024 now.
Yeah.
So we donated. Well, Grover Law from Not the Podcast, which is a different entity. They have all the money. I've got no money, okay? The podcast has no money until we get that big contract with ESPN.
Right.
Maybe we'll be there with Chris Fowler one day doing spreads on NFL games.
There you go.
But the bike donated was a is it the Road Glide?
Yeah.
And it's the Ultimo. It's called, and it's a special edition. It's called the Fast Johnny. And it looks like those old muscle cars with that white strip down it.
I like that color pattern.
Yeah, that's a Shelby. Yeah. Like the Shelby look.
Yeah. And then I would get the Lowrider in the Fast Johnny.
Yeah, they have that. The Lowrider ST. Yeah. And then the other bike they gave away was a Ducati V2, that black one. Did you see that black stealth one?
Yeah,
that's
pretty
sweet, isn't it? Yeah.
Okay. I like the yellow shock, was it red or yellow coil on the shock?
Oh no, that's the Olin suspension. That's the yellow gold Olin suspension. Yeah, that's cool. A couple grand just itself for the new suspension. I think it's adjustable on the fly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are nice bikes. And then you've ridden through Alberta, right?
Yep.
What's your favorite stretch of road to ride in Alberta? If you can recommend one here in Alberta for my rider fans out there.
You can't go wrong with the Kananaskis Loop.
Yeah, the Highway 40.
I like going in through Bragg Creek and then down
the Turner Valley,
762 or 74, whatever it is, down to Millerville and then
Turner Valley,
and then back down to Longview and then back through. I actually do runs through Ride in Alberta through there. We call them the Friday Night 40. We do it right near the solstice. And what
time you start at?
We start at 5 in Cochrane, and then we end up back at the casino by usually about 9 o'clock.
Nakota?
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you do? You leave Cochrane, and which way do you go?
Go down to Black Diamond. We usually pick up pizzas down at Black Diamond.
Okay, yeah.
And then we come back up.
Kananaskis, and you go up the hill, the mountain, and you come down.
Yeah.
Is it cold in the evening?
No, because usually we're doing it right around the solstice, so it's kind of like July 1st-ish. So usually it's pretty good.
I've ridden up there. I've done the Highway 40. Like I remember 4 years ago, I took one of my. It was the Pikes Peak up there, the Ducati, and it was August. And I was freezing.
It gets cold.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
way to the
definitely a few
top.
degrees different.
And I had to flip on the high of my heated grips on the Ducati, but it was kind of chilly up there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I tell everybody when we leave Longview, like put all your clothes on now because within an hour it's not going to be warm anymore.
Yeah.
We're going to drop 5 degrees.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's nice going through there. I actually did it with 2 friends of mine for the one girl's birthday, a Friday a few years ago now, and we found out that nobody is on that highway on a Friday evening.
Well, they're too busy. Like, are you married or no? You're married?
No.
Okay, they're probably at home with the kids watching cartoons and eating pizza.
But even the campers and all that kind of stuff have already got to where they're going by 7:30, 8 o'clock.
Yeah, and
so the highway is really not bit like I don't like riding that highway, on a Sunday afternoon or a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
It's just a death trap out there.
And then
I also like the powder face for a nice little gravel loop. The powder face.
So that's the Kananaskis Road, right? You have to take that road like past Dakota, right?
Yeah, you can get on it from that side, or you can get on it from the Highway 1 side.
Do you ever pass? Just out of interest, have you ever passed the old Fortress Mountain ski hill on a motorcycle? No, or no? Do you know what that is?
Road up there?
Yeah. Because it's just past Nikiska.
Yeah.
Are you a skier?
I use snowboard, I snowboard at Fortress all the time.
It was very interesting. I was going through, I think it was Netflix, and I found this documentary that these dudes went up to Fortress, and it's all barren, and they went up there in the wintertime. It's pretty cool. Like, you see the chalet, it's still standing, it's rotting away. You see that the ski lift and all that. I hated Fortress. Like, honestly, it was so windy up there. And compared to Norquay and Sunshine, the lodge sucked. Yeah. And I remember staying up there, and I think we had to have sleeping bags on the bed and all that crap. And that place eventually went belly up because they couldn't make it go.
Yeah, they needed it. They needed a bunch of money poured into it. Yeah. I mean, and there were some weather issues, but on a good day on the far side, I mean, you couldn't beat the powder that you'd get on back there. I remember waist deep stuff back there.
Yeah, but it's kind of you should look on social media for this. It's kind of cool, and they still have the radio, and they're trying to talk. The radio doesn't work, but it's like a ghost ski hill, right? And then it all comes back to, I remember I was there at 12 and 13 skiing. Wow. Yeah. So I don't know if you've ever skied by there at all. I mean, ridden by there at all. That Fortress or no? I didn't even know what road to take to get there.
Well, anyway. It's right off the Kananaskis Road.
Oh, is it right off there?
There's that gas station.
Yeah, the top one, the last gas station.
The little one, it's out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's not that far from there where the turnoff is.
Oh, okay, the Fortress. Yeah. So you can take that turnoff and just ride your bike up there. So I think that would be a cool ride. Just
Yeah, maybe next time I'm on the Kananaskis Highway.
Yeah, vintage. Well, maybe if I ride with you guys in the Solstice next year, we can take a turn off to Fortress and just check it out, because it'd be kind of like, old reminiscences, old times as when I was a young teenager, just to check it out. Yeah, it's probably run down, it's terrible probably.
Well, it was run down when we were still going there.
Oh yeah, I remember going there. Yeah. And so you recommend Highway 40 down to Turner Valley, Water Valley, Longview area, stuff like that, eh?
Well, the other thing too, you get up on the Highway 22 and north up to Rocky, and then I do a loop around Dixon Dam and come back through Spruce View and stuff like that. I really like riding around there too. Okay. It's a lot less traffic. Yeah. You get down towards Black Diamond and Turner Valley and stuff like that. There's always a lot of bikes. There's always a lot of traffic. There's the Sunday drivers, picnickers and stuff like that. Yeah. Where north of Sundre and stuff like that, you don't get a lot of that.
Did you hear about the big merger this summer? We have the big... the Metropolitan now in southern Alberta, where Turner Valley and Black Diamond.
Yeah, I still don't call them Black Diamond yet. But
what is it called now?
Black Diamond.
They call it Turner Valley Black Diamond. Because they merged
no,
together as a same.
Diamond Valley. Sorry, Diamond
okay.
Valley is the new name.
But there was that big merger. It was all over CNN and BBC. And
well, if you look at some of the Google stuff now, it actually says that the town they're using Diamond Valley now.
Oh, okay, yeah. But it was all over. You don't remember CNN? I think Anderson Cooper was down there in the big merger. No, I'm just joking. But it's a nice area. I mean, they have that burrito shop. I don't know if you know what's that bike shop off in Turner Valley.
Yeah,
they have it's that whole family that I forget the name of it. They can work on any kind of bikes like Harley. They're open certain part of the season. I think they go off to Mexico in the wintertime.
Yeah, and then they got they
have that burrito kind of like trailer they got good burritos there.
Yeah,
I don't know if you try those out.
Yeah, and there's always bikes there.
Oh yeah,
always.
Yeah. And then you take the big highway to Black Diamond, and you close your eyes and you're Black Diamond in 5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But it's a nice area down there. Turner Valley, Black Diamond, Longview's nice. You know, they got that steakhouse. I don't know if you've ever been to that famous steakhouse there. Yeah.
And then south of Longview, there's a road that goes west up over top of what's called Hailstone Butte, and that is probably one of the best gravel rides.
Okay.
And not very many people ever
go there. Okay, you'll have to show me that ride.
And you're like the top of the mountain is. You feel like you could reach out and touch it, and you go right over top of this huge pass.
Okay. And what about Chain Lakes? Have you been down to Chain Lakes?
Yeah, well, that's kind of where this road starts.
Oh, okay. Because they have those sweeping long curves there, which is
I'd like to do Highway 40 all the way. Highway 40, which is the trunk road. It goes by all these other names. It goes all the way from Grand Prairie to Coleman.
Oh, really?
So you can actually do all back road.
Okay.
Which the Kananaskis Highway is actually part of that. That's the only paved, that section, and there's a section just north of Hinton that's paved.
Would you ever want to do the Alaska Highway through Yukon to go up to Alaska in the summertime?
Yeah, I'd love to do that, but I mean, you gotta set apart
2 weeks probably.
At least 2 weeks. I'd probably do like 3 weeks because you just get on into these places and then you're like, oh, I want to go see Juneau, or I want to go to, and Dawson these places Creek. Are not just this far apart.
Oh, yeah, it's massive.
Yeah, you got to ride for a whole day to get to the next town. So I'd probably at some point I'll do that. Maybe when I get my new adventure bike.
What do you think of the Yamaha Tenere 700, the T7s? Would you buy one of those?
I wouldn't, because again, I'm not a big dual sport guy. I'm more of a touring guy.
Yeah, but you can do that. You can use that bike for anything.
Yeah, but they're not set. They're definitely more leaning towards the dual sport than an adventure touring.
They've got more of a revving engine and stuff like that. And
yeah, I don't think they're built that great for the highway.
Yeah.
If you're doing like any single track type stuff or anything like that, then that's the bike, for you.
But they sell like hotcakes. Like I know, they can't keep them in stock.
Yeah.
I think Yamaha purposely is holding stuff back, but you never know.
I think for that guy looking for a dual sport that you can still ride on the highway, it's a good bike. And it's a Yamaha, so it's probably going to be bulletproof.
Oh yeah.
And it's been out for a couple of years now, so it's probably a solid.
Oh yeah, solid as a tank.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. My buddies in Carstairs are now bringing in those new Kove bikes.
Oh yeah. The electrical ones.
No, they're not electric.
Oh, are they Chinese?
They're a Chinese brand, but they're like no Chinese bike that's ever been built that I've ever seen.
Why is that?
They're doing something totally different with this company. It's a brand new company. They put 3 bikes into the Dakar last year, and 3 bikes finished.
Oh wow! So yes,
for a company that just come onto the market.
Yeah.
And again, a Chinese company, nobody would have guessed that, right?
Yeah. But
so they're trying to do what I see is they're trying to do what the Japanese bikes did in the 60s and 70s and come into the North American market and cut prices and put out a really good product. So They're going to bring in an 800
Yeah.
next year.
Okay.
So I'll probably look at that bike. Right now they got that Rally 450, which is a really good dual sport bike. Or if you were a rally competitor, you can buy the Rally Pro for like 19 grand or something like that. And it comes, you don't even have to do anything. You just take that bike to the ball and ride it. But
I saw them on Facebook, and they actually look like an MV Agusta, that high-end kind of looking bike. Yeah. And then I realized they're Chinese. Like, let me put that aside for a couple of years.
Well, I don't know if you follow the Dakar.
What's in Saudi Arabia now?
Yeah.
Ever since COVID hit, because they don't want to go all the way from like France to Senegal.
Well, and there's other reasons, because
what's the other reason?
Warring nations and things like that. People get killed in some of these countries, so you can't be running rallies.
And then the other thing is Saudi's really pushing like diversifying their economy. I think there was some tourism. All these Hollywood stars showed up. Conor McGregor was there. Nicolas Cage. They're sort of trying to do like what Dubai did, like make it more classy and have these fancy hotels, which is good on them for Saudi Arabia, because oil is good, but you should diversify your economy.
Eventually, you got to do something. Yeah. But I don't know if you know who Mason Klein is. He's an American rider. In his rookie year, he got 9th in the Dakar. Okay. He's riding a Cove
bike
this Dakar. So we'll see what he does on that that bike, and then people will judge from there for sure. But he had a KTM before, so I don't know too many guys that are jumping ship from KTM, to go to a brand if they didn't think they were going to finish the race on it.
KTMs are good. I mean, I've got one KTM. I got a 990 Adventure, and I sort of wrapped at Grover Law Firm. Did a lot of changes to it. Yeah. But I've heard, they're high maintenance kind of thing. You got to learn how to work on a bike if you have one. They can break down here and there. I
don't know. I know a couple of guys that had the 1090, I think it was, and they had pretty catastrophic issues with them in the first 2 years. And I'm like, man.
I heard they just rev really high, and also just it's a high screaming engine, and there's some breakdown.
There was a transmission problem for the one guy. He blew out the transmission with he had like 40, 50,000 K on it, and no more transmission. Yeah. So.
But KTM's got a lot of money behind them now, too.
Oh, yeah.
They have a museum now in Austria. I don't know if you check that out on the internet.
Yeah.
And they're getting back into these like mid-size racing bikes on the track. I mean, I know they have an 890, and I think that they sold out 100, 200 versions of it in like an hour or something like that. So, yeah. So apart from cycling, riding Alberta, which you explained, do you follow any sports at all, like that are non-motorcycle?
Motorcycling takes up like 95% of my life right now. So
nothing with NFL or CFL?
Not a lot, especially after, I don't know, I think COVID left a bad taste in my mouth, especially for like some of the pro sports.
But why is that?
I felt it was really weird that they were bringing back like hockey when we couldn't even go to a game.
Yeah, but there's also, I mean, they're a business. They
I understand that. Yeah. But it was almost like that was like a priority over other things, Yeah. Not that I have anything against pro sports, because I've watched lots of it or anything, but lately, I mean, it takes up so much of my time just keeping up with motorcycle, and I watch MotoGP and keep up with rallies and stuff like that.
So MotoGP, like you're talking like Marc Marquez and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So who do you like as a rider out there?
I don't really cheer for any one rider individual. No, okay. I just like watching. Just those guys just. I'm at awe when I'm watching those guys and what they do on a motorcycle.
Have you seen what's it called, the bagger races? They take in Indians and
King
Harley.
Of the Baggers.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'd rather watch that than MotoGP, because I think it's totally cool how they take an Indian bagger and they just, make it stock and slim it down. Yeah. And then Harley's tried it, but Indian just kicks their butt every year,
Well, no, the Harleys, The two guys, I can't remember their names now,
Mm-hmm.
that are like the factory riders for Harley now.
And they're doing well?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
But they were selling Indian was selling a racing bagger. You could buy it. And I think I saw it on the internet. Like, it was actually like it was like they're pretty much, but it's street legal where you could ride it on the road.
Okay.
And I think it was like 90,000 pounds. Like, that's 160,000 Canadian almost. That's a lot of money for a bagger.
You'd think you'd be able to build your own for that price.
Well, you could just buy a bagger
Yeah.
from Indian here, at Calgary Cycle Works.
Yeah, and then just put every add-on on it.
Well, but the problem is the way it's like, if you ever look at those baggers, they're like, they're more forward facing. They're not really a bagger.
Yeah, the geometry has changed so that you can be much more aggressive. You're not riding like this, right?
And then they put, special suspension on it, and then they deck it up in decals and everything. It looks pretty cool, but you could always just buy your own Indian and just wrap it your own way and still have it as a bagger.
Yeah.
Cool. And then anything else you're into other than like motorcycling, anything like politics or crochet or anything like that?
Politics I leave out because, being on social media and
are you a Trump fan at all?
I'm not going to go to politics.
Okay. All right.
I fly fish.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Go down to Montana or southern Alberta?
Just all over Alberta, even back at Water Valley, we got some really nice creeks back there.
Do you throw your rod and your bike and just head out to the creek somewhere?
Yeah.
Yeah? It's pretty nice in the summertime, eh?
Yeah, so it kind of goes hand in hand with the bike.
What do you fish, like trout or something? Or
mostly trout,
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else you do?
Yeah, the social media stuff and the business and the website take up so much of my time that
well, why don't
I hunt and I shoot shotgun and shoot stuff like that, shoot clays and stuff like that.
Card?
Oh yeah.
Okay, good. Because we're live. We're filming, so I don't want the RCMP coming into your house.
No.
Okay. Do you got it restricted, non-restricted, or just?
No, just non-restricted.
Okay. I got both of them. So,
yeah.
But yeah, at the end of the day, I know Riding Alberta is going well, and I know you just launched this newsletter. Is it correct? And I know Grover Law Firm's part of it now.
Yeah, you are a major sponsor of my newsletter / website.
Yeah, so if you want to go ahead and promote your newsletter, so can you tell everyone the purpose of your newsletter for Riding Alberta and where they can find it?
Yeah, so I just started doing the newsletter to kind of keep people updated as to what Riding Alberta is doing, what I'm doing within the community. And, it especially in the winter, it gives people, I've got some stuff on there about, YouTube or some series that I've watched that I think people might be interested in, some events going on even over the winter. So you can find stuff like that on there. Yeah. So you can subscribe to the newsletter on the Riding Alberta website. It's just ridingalberta.ca.
Is there any cost to subscribe to the newsletter?
No.
And then how are you supporting just getting sponsors out there?
Yeah. And then if you're interested in supporting small business and finding these small businesses and having access to these deals that I broker with these small businesses, and they're all over Alberta. We got them all the way up into, up north of Grand Prairie, all the way down to Medicine Hat. And that list keeps growing. If you're interested in that, it's a $20 membership for 12 months, and you can buy that on the website as well.
And you get discounts and everything at these shops?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's shops, it's coffee shops, it's bike shops, it's diners.
Is there anything like what people would know? Is there a certain shop that you have that like they would click right away?
Depends on where your podcast people are from.
Yeah, what about a motorcycle shop? Is there a certain motorcycle shop they can go to?
I've got Revival Power Sports. They're out in Edmonton. Another Revolt Power Sports in Lloydminster. They were an HD dealer. They're still a certified HD warranty place out in Lloyd. They're on there. I've got like Boutique of Leathers is part
Oh,
of
so
that
everyone
program.
knows but Boutiques of Letters out in Market Mall.
Yeah, there's like 7 or 8 of them around the province now.
Yeah, the one I know is in the one in Market Mall, and they've got a nice store there, and I've gone in there, bought some, vests and stuff like that. So if I'm a member of if I join your Riding Alberta, what kind of discount can I get at Boutique of Leathers?
You get 20% off regular, 10% off sale.
Oh, that's pretty good. So if a vest is $300, I get like $60 off.
So you paid for your $20 membership.
Exactly, in one purchase. So I'll definitely sign up then. Okay.
Klondike Insurance.
Yeah,
gives me 10% off.
Okay. Yeah, they're good company.
And I saved $65 on my
Anything with Fatburger yet?
No. There's quite a few burger joints and coffee places and a couple pizza places. So, but the goal is to have about, I'd like to have 120 businesses on there before riding season.
Okay.
And I think that's really,
all right.
I'll probably reach that, if not break that number. And then it just keeps growing because the more businesses I sign up, the more riders want in. Yeah. And then the more riders that I can sell memberships to, the more businesses want in. Yeah. So it's a good program for small business, especially because I only charge them $25 a year to be part of that program. Yeah. And then they give me some sort of deal. So it works really well for these businesses that can't afford big advertising
like,
and marketing.
They can't afford like $100 million a year like McDonald's.
Well, some of them can't afford $500 a year, right?
Yeah.
But it's easy to sell a $20 membership to a rider when they're getting these little deals and discounts, and they're supporting local owned businesses.
To keep them alive. Okay. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you taking your time on your busy schedule, showing up for the podcast. I know Winston and Ruzi would be very happy. I don't know if you met them yet, the dogs at all, or no?
I don't think so.
Yeah, we got to get them out, and you got to check them out one day. But they definitely would endorse the Riding Alberta website.
Awesome.
And, we're proud for Grover Law Firm, even though it's a different entity, of being part of your newsletter. We wish you all the best. And, if anyone's out there, a small business looking to, get into the network, I mean, it's always good to have a network that you can promote your business. Check out Riding Alberta with Craig. You'll gladly bring them into your little familia. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And then there's a newsletter, and obviously, I've seen, Grover Law Firm's part of the newsletter. I've seen your Facebook page, so I endorse Riding Alberta, and I wish you all the best, and hopefully you have a great holiday season, okay?
Yeah, thanks.
And then we'll see you in 2024, probably at the Calgary Motorcycle Show in February.
Sure.
Okay, well, thank you, Craig.
Yeah, thanks, Steve.
Happy holidays, and all the best to you and your family in the new year, okay?
You as well, man.
All right, so thanks for, tuning in for another episode of the Bulldog Brewhouse Podcast. I hope everyone's keeping safe and enjoying the holiday season and maxing out their credit cards for all those Christmas gifts you're buying for your husband, wife, or even girlfriend, and your little kids, or even your dogs in your life. And we look forward to seeing you in 2024, and all the best, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Thank you. Cheers.